We all think we know what's going on inside our heads. Thoughts, emotions, the usual stuff. But what if there's something else? A totally different kind of feeling. A whole other layer of consciousness that most of us never even touch. Well, today we're going to dive into this really unique framework. Think of it like a map of the mind. And the crazy part? This map wasn't drawn up in some fancy lab. It came from decades of deep personal meditation. So it all kicked off with this incredible personal discovery. The author of this framework, after 40 years of meditation, suddenly experienced something completely new. It was a sensation so different, so unfamiliar, that our language didn't even have a word for it. He literally had to invent a new name for what he was feeling. So what was this feeling? This is the core of the whole thing. Let's break down this new category of experience because understanding it requires us to kind of rewire how we think about our own inner world. And here's the term he came up with: mind feeling. Now, get this, it's not physical, like, touching something hot or cold, and it's not mental, like feeling happy or sad. The source says it's a feeling that happens in the mind itself. And it's described as, and I quote, the most complete and beautiful feeling a person can experience. I mean, wow, that's a huge statement, right? Okay, so if we're going to understand where this mind feeling lives, we need that map I mentioned, and this framework gives us one. It proposes a specific geography of the mind, splitting our inner world into two really distinct areas, or surfaces. Right, this is the big question. If it's not in our body, and it's not just part of our regular mental chatter, then where in the world is it? Let's take a look at the map. So the model shows us two key zones. First, you've got the lesser surface. You can think of this as our everyday operating system. It's where our intellect connects with our mind to do all the thinking and analyzing. It's where most of us are hanging out most of the time. But then there's the greater surface. This is a much deeper level. It's described as the place where our soul, our personal essence, meets our spirit, that more universal part of us. It's a way more profound space to be. This really lays out the whole journey. See, it starts with the ego connecting to the intellect. That conversation then happens on the lesser surface of the mind. But that final, deepest connection, where the soul and spirit meet, that only happens on the greater surface. It's a clear pathway, moving from our surface-level self all the way down to our deepest consciousness. All right, so we've got our map with its different layers. Now let's start placing our feelings on it. This is where it all starts to really make sense, and you can see how everything connects. This chart just makes it super clear. Physical feeling? Simple. It's tied to our body, in the physical world. Mental feelings, all our emotions, are connected to what's called the soul mind, and they operate on that busy lesser surface. But that special mind feeling? That's totally different. It belongs to the spirit mind, and you can only access it on that deeper, greater surface. So, the million-dollar question: how do we get there? How do we actually travel from that everyday lesser surface to the profound greater surface? Well, according to this framework, the path is all about a process of detachment. It's almost like climbing a ladder, step by step, to a higher state of awareness. And here are the rungs on that ladder. Step 1 is detaching from physical and emotional pain. Then it gets way deeper. The soul mind starts to let go of its attachment to the whole physical experience. Deeper still, the spirit mind detaches from the soul's experience. And the final step, this one's a real mind-bender. The mind feeling itself detaches from the very concept of feeling, and you reach the state of just pure observation. This is the destination, a state of complete non-attachment. And it's really important to get this. It's not about being cold or not caring. It's about a profound sense of freedom, where you're not controlled by any thought, feeling, or experience. This is what it means to connect with pure consciousness. Reaching this peak of non-attachment isn't about becoming empty. It's actually about achieving a perfect state of harmony and getting access to the absolute purest form of consciousness. And what's so cool here is how pure consciousness is defined. It's not some flashy vision or an explosion of light. It's described as pure stillness, a state where there's no interaction. And the source suggests that it's right there, in that incredible quiet, that the meaning of life just reveals itself. No explanation needed. This brings us to this really fascinating paradox. The ultimate state, the whole goal of this journey, is described as being in pure nothingness. And yet, at the exact same time, in that nothingness, there is everything. This is the central paradox of the whole framework.
The idea that by emptying out your mind, you don't become empty. You actually gain access to a total, complete, all-encompassing awareness. Nothing and everything, all at once.
So, this paradox isn't just a philosophical brain teaser. It's presented as the main challenge of being human, constantly dealing with the push and pull between harmony and disharmony. And the key to solving it? That purity of detachment we talked about. This whole system operates within the idea of karma, where positive actions lead to positive outcomes. And interestingly, the source says this doesn't just apply to us, but to our relationship with the entire world, even non-living things. Which, of course, leads us to the biggest question of all. After we've mapped the mind, defined all these feelings, and laid out the path to stillness, why? What's the whole point of this incredible, complicated thing we call consciousness? And the answer that's given is just beautifully simple. The purpose isn't to think, or to achieve, or to get stuff. The purpose of consciousness is simply to experience meaning in life. According to this map of the mind, that's it. That's the end game. And this is the final, really powerful idea to leave with you. All those points of interaction we mapped out, from the ego all the way to the spirit, they're all leading to one ultimate place. It's not just about feeling, and it's not just about knowing. The whole point is to truly understand.